The Mare of the Night, Part 2.
Hey, you big monkey!
The drunken stallion reeled, taking a swig from the bottle on his hoof.
Get out of my country!
The inebriated equine slurred and hurled the half-empty bottle at the ambassadorial cart. Before it could make contact, Lenny jumped up and caught the bottle in his mouth, while George leapt off the carriage, brandishing his spear.
Alright, I'm going,
the cowed drunkard said, stumbling off down the streets. George and Lenny returned to the carriage.
Are you alright, Your Eminence?
Asked George.
I'm fine.
Daniel said. Sometimes those two acted more like overprotective parents than bodyguards. Daniel looked around and shivered. Old Town was like a rug. Everything the higher-ups didn't want to see, or even acknowledge, was swept down here. Out of sight, out of mind. The buildings, while in relatively good repair, looked tired and worn. It was like sick old men nursing what little was left of their life. Depression and hopelessness oozed from them like tree sap. Happiness was a stranger here. Joy wasn't welcome. It was a place where dreams went to die. Daniel clutched at his abdomen, his stomach churning and bubbling like a pot about to boil over. His bowels felt like they'd been tied into a square knot by a sadistic Boy Scout. All of his worries busted out of their prison and ran through his mind like a minotaur through a china shop.
I need a friend, now!
In his experience, the most effective antidote for stress was conversation. All he had to do was sit down with a friend, maybe over a cup of tea or two, talk for a little while, and all of his stress would evaporate like morning dew. Daniel whipped out his planner and turned to the section marked Friends, parentheses true. He scrolled through the list. Twilight, diplomatic mission to Asia, Luna and Celestia, out at a charity dinner, fancy pants and fleur-de-lis, second honeymoon in Vegas. Damn it. Daniel tucked the planner back into his coat pocket. Every pony else was too far away. George and Lenny might have worked in a pinch, but they were both on duty, same with the driver. A pressure built up within Daniel's mind. There was a conversation inside of him begging to be released. At this point, he'd take any pony. A garbage collector, a street sweeper, hell, even a hired assassin would do, so long as they agreed to talk to him first. The carriage then came to a violent halt. Daniel's train of thought jumped the tracks and exploded.
What's going on?
He yelled.
1 second, sir.
The driver said, unhitching himself from the reins to inspect the carriage.
Oh, horse apples. It's a broken wheel. Hold on, I'll get the spare.
Here, let me help.
Daniel unbuckled his seatbelt and opened the carriage door.
Sir!
George and Lenny blocked his exit.
Please stay in the vehicle while the wheel is replaced.
Guys, listen, if I'll help, it'll go much faster.
Daniel explained.
The faster it goes, the less time we have to stay here.
Well, he's got a point.
Lenny said.
Those hands of his do make things real easy.
George groaned, not happy at being overruled by his partner.
Fine, but please, make it quick.
With that, Daniel slipped out of the little bubble of sophistication that was his carriage, and into Old Town. Somehow, the already seedy town had become even seedier. The background music was a cacophony of yowling cats, breaking glass and rambling drunks. Saloons sprouted like barnacles, polluting the air with the smell of cheap booze and urine. Brothels and sex shops competed for space like weeds. For some reason, Daniel had a hard time accepting that a place like this existed. There was just something utterly wrong with having a place like this in this Seussian fairy tale, like finding a Playboy pinup in the middle of a coloring book. He shook his head. No time for distractions. The sooner that he had changed the wheel, the sooner that he could get out of here. The driver groaned and slid under the carriage and propped it up, using his body as a makeshift jack. Quickly, Daniel slipped off the damaged wheel, grabbed the spare from beneath the carriage, and slipped it on, screwing it neatly into its socket.
Oh, such nimble hands.
Daniel's heart kicked into overdrive. He whipped his head around to see a Pegasus mare dressed in a black thong and lacy socks.
Bet you'd like to use this hands on something a little softer.
The mare turned around, giving Daniel a scenic view of her flank and tail. She batted her unnaturally long eyelashes.
You want to ride this little pony?
Daniel's heart rate slowly eased back to normal. No thank you, miss, he said, brushing some dirt off of his suit. The mare sniffed.
Sit yourself,
she snorted, before sauntering off.
Well, that was something.
Daniel climbed back into the carriage and buckled himself in. Living in Equestria for 2 years had taught Daniel otherwise. Ponies were just as sexual and perverted as humans. Maybe even more so. Daniel then shut the door. Take prostitution, for example. In Equestria, being a hooker was a legitimate career choice. Not exactly a glamorous profession, not by any means, but no more wrong than being, let's say, a plumber or a handyman. Prostitutes had unions, pension plans, childcare, all the benefits of a legitimate job back home. Hell, some equestrian technical schools actually gave courses on it. Needless to say, it was giving the conservatives back home some pretty nasty fits. As the carriage rolled Canterlot's seedy underbelly, Daniel found himself the target of every prostitute on the block. Mares and stallions from all three tribes called out to him, offering a good time and a great flank in exchange for some bits. Donkey jennies with pierced ears and high-heeled horseshoes called out to him. Griffin hens with painted beaks chirped at him, while diamond dog females wearing jewel-encrusted lingerie growled lustily. And once, Daniel even saw Minotaur sow showing off her prodigious memories. Some other time, Daniel might have taken up their offers. Now, when the closest human woman was an entire universe away, your taste in women changed rather quickly. No pony in Canterlot would have minded, and when the bigwigs back in New York probably wouldn't have approved, there was nothing that they could do about it. But right now, he just ignored them. He needed companionship, not sex. Daniel's eyes then lit up. Then again, who said that he had to hire them for sex? For just a few bits, one of these lovely ladies could serve as an improvised friend. Compared to what their usual requests are, it's probably downright tame. Of course, it wouldn't be as good as the real thing, like a Chinese knockoff of a popular toy, but right now, a cheap substitute was better than nothing.
Okay, Daniel, you're a real ladies' man. You're sophisticated, stylish. You've been banging mares since the day you hit puberty. So you're looking for a mare who can give you the best time of your life.
Daniel scanned the streets, not really sure what he was looking for.
No. Oh, definitely no.
As he scrutinized the streetwalkers, one mare in particular caught his eye. A dark gray mare, leaning against the side of a building, wearing a hydra-skin saddle and fishnet stockings. Two leathery wings were folded against her sides like someone had hot-glued bat wings onto a pony plushie.
A bat pony?
He's heard of these creatures before. Also known as Thestrals, they were an offshoot of the Pegasi tribe native to the small northern country of Latusia. Because of their appearance, they tended to keep to themselves. Aside from the relative few serving in Luna's Night Guard, one rarely saw a bat pony outside their home country. So, what was this one doing here? Daniel scrutinized the Thestral a little more. With eyes honed by years of studying pony faces, he could tell that something was off about her. Namely, her eyes. There was none of lust or simulated desire that he'd seen in the eyes of her coworkers. All he saw was a dull exhaustion, as if she desperately needed a break from life. Daniel put a hand to his chin. Maybe. Just maybe. She was the kind of mare that he needed.
Driver, halt!
The car lurched to a halt.
Excuse me, miss.
Daniel called out to the streetwalker. The bat pony pointed a forehoof at herself.
Yeah, you. Could you come over here?
The mare put on an obviously forced smile.
Well, it would seem that the resident human wants to get batty.
She spread her two leathery wings. Her voice was beautiful. It was a silky contralto with a thick Slavic-sounding accent. However, the delivery made Daniel's inner actor cringe. It was stiff and stilted, as if she was reading from cue cards. And her body language was even worse. It was so exaggerated and lackluster that it became laughable. Either this mare wasn't very good at her job, or she just didn't even give a damn. The Thestral sauntered over to the carriage, swaying her ample hips back and forth in a ridiculously exaggerated manner, like a parody of a sultry walk. George and Lenny stopped her.
1 second, miss.
They lit up their horns and began scanning the batty equine.
You're doing it wrong,
said George.
Up and down, not side to side. Sorry,
said Lenny. The two waved their horns around the Thestral's body, as if they had airport security scanners glued to their foreheads.
She's clean,
said George.
You may pass. Thank you?
The bat pony caught herself.
Oh, it looks like my newest client is a... what is the word? Hotshot? No?
Well, you might say that.
Daniel thought. Like a gentleman, he opened the carriage door and helped the little bat horse in. For a small marshmallow-like bat horse, the Thestral was quite beautiful, with her silky dark blue mane, a coat like dull silver, and strangely elegant wings. Her scent was equally exotic, sweet yet musky, like smoked jasmine.
So?
The Thestral climbed onto Daniel's lap like a scantily clad child. He really wished he thought of a better analogy.
If it is something cheap that you want, there is a simple hoof job for 20 bits, the double hoof job for 50 bits.
The Thestral continued through her list of services, rattling off her services like a waiter reading off a wine list. Some of them were familiar to Daniel thanks to personal experience with Twilight, and some were new to him, and some sounded borderline illegal. As the Bat Pony listed her various flavors of sex, Daniel caught a glimpse of her cutie mark, a stylized swan with outstretched wings. That's odd. While he didn't claim to be an expert on the girlishly named markings, it seemed an odd choice for a prostitute. He would have expected something more fitting, like lacy underwear or a rabbit.
And last, there is the Canterlot special for 200 bits.
She stopped for a moment.
Well, which one will it be?
None of them, Daniel said as politely as he could. The Bat Pony tilted her head.
What?
That's right. I don't wish to have sex with you, miss.
Starlight.
The Thestral furrowed her brows.
And if you did not want sex, then why did you call me over? I do not do bondage.
Miss Starlight, Daniel explained. I wish to hire you as a conversation partner. Just talk to me for an hour or two and I'll pay you. Starlight crossed her forelegs and scowled.
Look, Mr. Hotshot, I am what you would call a streetwalker. A whore. Ponies throw me bits and I lift my tail. Talking is not part of that. If what you want is talking, then there are plenty of other ponies on the street.
She turned around and started to climb out of the carriage. Wait! Daniel grabbed the Thestral by the wither. Look, let's make a deal. Your most expensive service is 200 bits, right? Starlight nodded. Well, talk to me for a few hours, and I'll pay you double the usual fee. Two tufted ears perked up.
Double?
Starlight put a hoof to her mouth, then nodded.
Alrighty then, Mr. Hotshot. I suppose that I could, how you say, chew the rag with you?
She hopped back into the carriage and sat back down on the Hydra-hide seats, eyes half lidded.
So do you want to talk here, or are you having some other place in mind?
Daniel smiled. Oh, I have a place. No joke, I would probably do the same thing that Daniel did. Just hiring a prostitute just to hold a watermelon while I post it up on YouTube. Actually, I don't think I could post prostitutes on YouTube. Post a comment down below if you think a pony prostitute can be put on YouTube. I'm joking. Anyway, let's get on to our humble donators. Top donators: Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside, and Ponyman. CourierCruz CI, Strix, Zar630, Narwhals, Delta Omega, RuneCypher9852, Dospo, Ronnie Dragonwolf, Hunter Norman, Austin Rowland, Secret Moon, Tall Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brother and Mordred, Ron and Wandering, Andrai63, Random Person Man Guy, Easy, Jack Cadge, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David E. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F, Rainbow Dash, Teal'c Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Zach Raquel, Mr. ECU, Leslie Prickett, Edgar Garcia, One Kingdom 1, Nissa Rusan, Bazuri, Dyslexic Character Sheets, and Just a Random Boy. Thank you all very much for watching this video, live life to the fullest, and try a Russian accent if you haven't already, that's kinda fun.